Hi everyone, welcome. I'm going to show you how I turn some of my artwork into cards. So for this one, I think I'm going to do a little bit more of the detail to it. I'm going to leave it kind of as is, but add a few things just to kind of zhuzh it up like these hearts. But first, I think I'm going to cut it to size, and I'm going to find the paper that I like for it. All right, I'm going to cut this down. First, I'm going to start with the 5x7, and I'm going to kind of trim up some of my edges here, and then we will place it and kind of see if we like the proportions of it. All right, so I'm just going to trim up my edges, and I could have done this. I didn't have to use the knife. I could have done this from the beginning. And then here I had some of these edges I wanted to trim up. Okay, that's a good start. And then we'll trim our cardstock. So I take it to the 7 mark. Trim it. And I keep all these scrap pieces because I use those for backing and other fun projects too. And take it to the 10. Cut it. All right, and then we take it, the piece that we cut 10 inches, we're going to take it to the 5 and score it. So we've scored our fold mark, so when we fold our card, it'll be like a standard card. Now I'm going to just try placement. Oh, I like that. That's pretty good. I like the frame and the edges of that, so I'm going to leave it as is. And now I'm going to get to my hearts. All right, so what I'm doing, I have this little piece of foam that I've just picked up from some sort of packaging. You could use styrofoam, cardboard, anything that your push pins will stick into. I'm using part of my kneaded eraser just because it's sticky, and I'm putting it on the tops of the push pins because I'm going to place the hearts that I hole punched out on top of them to help them stick, to give them a surface that I can work on. I'm sure there's an easier way, but these are just the things that I have, and if there's a harder way to do it, then that's what I do. So now we take our glossy accent. You can use like glitter glue. I just like this one because it kind of builds up, it mounds, and so it makes them like multi-dimensional. Put it right on top, load it up, and it, looks foggy kind of at the beginning, but it dries clear. And I just make sure to get it all, the whole heart, and make sure to get a good amount so that it does create, some dimension and texture to it. So I just go through and make a handful of these so that I have them for this card or any other cards that I want to use. And this is basically what I do with, my scrap paper. So if I've cut down sides of a card that are big enough to hole punch some hearts out of, then that's what I use this for. All right, so our hearts are dry. We're just gonna put a bunch of them down and kind of see if we like where we're going artistically. And then once we get it all figured out, we'll glue them down. So I'm just trying to be thoughtful about the colors and the placement of the hearts. And I don't have to use them all, but I kind of like them, so I think I am. And I like to use, the light ones on spots where the background is darker and vice versa, dark ones where it's lighter. One of the reasons I like doing these hearts is because it adds another 3D element. You could do this with rhinestones or anything that's just going to kind of pop off the page and create just something visually interesting to look at. All right, so we are going to adhere all of our glossy accented hearts to our art page. And I love this Tombow MONO liquid glue because it dries clear. It has this pin tip as well as a broad tip, so I can use it for fine detailed projects like this as well as larger projects. All right, it's the moment of truth. Did we get them all? 3, 2, 1. Yes, we got them all. All right, so I love how this looks. If you had something like this, you had space for a happy Valentine's Day, you could write the greeting on the front. I think I'm gonna try and use my metallics and create a real pretty border. Just a real simple, non-perfect border around the edge. I think because we have a lot of bold reds and pinks, I'm gonna try this lighter pink. All right, I'm just gonna take my brush and just real haphazardly, just kind of bring it down on the sides. Can be larger on some areas, smaller on some areas, but I really like it when it's not like that is perfect. You know, when it's not perfect and has some imperfections, it just makes it visually more interesting for me. So you can kind of go in as deep, large of a frame as you want. Leave it just barely. I think that's pretty. I like that. And I feel like it does a lot for it. Does a really good job framing it. You can still see the paint underneath it. It's lovely. All right, so we are all dry. We're ready to assemble. And I just have some foam tape here that I thought I'd do a little different, a raised version. Just lay down a few pieces around the edge. I don't like to go all the way to the edge of the card. I like to have it a little inside a little bit. Make sure we're all adhered. All right, so I'm just kind of keeping my border in mind, making sure that my edges are, you know, that I have the same amount of card on each side, that I'm not crooked. Isn't that pretty? I think that came out so nice. Different. Okay, I'm going to sign this one as well. Well, I love how these cards turn out, and hopefully you can create something just as exciting for yourself with your artwork or your doodle sheet. And until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.